Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening everyone. My name is Nabilah Marwa from class D. In this occasion, I would like to convey my understanding about Likert scale. This presentation also serves as a final examination in this subject. So before I explain more about Likert scale, for the first I will tell the content that I would like to explain. The explanation consists of the definition of Likert scale question, the contents of the scale being measured, the example of Likert scale, the response form of the Likert scale, how to construct Likert scale, and the benefit of Likert scale. So the first is, what is Likert scale? The definition of Likert scale is a type of scale that commonly used in survey research to measure how someone feels, opinions, attitudes, or behaviors toward a certain subject or a given topic. Because the Likert scale easily allow the researcher to personalize a behavior or personality perceptions to student. For example, you want to measure student perceptions about the preference between the learning by use movie or by using gadget. So you can use the Likert scale to know the answer. And the second is the question used in Likert scale. There are single choice and close-ended questions. Single choice, it means if you want to give the statement, you must remember that the student only choose one answer to each item. So in the one statement, there is no double verb or different topic. And the second is close-ended question, is the question that in front of the statement. So in the Likert scale, the question by using the statement. And the next is the content of scale being measured. There are 5. The first is agreement, to measure a person attitude agreement, and it usually use the scale of from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And the second is frequency, to measure a person's attitude of often do something, and usually use the scale from often to never. And the quality is to measure a person's attitude toward the quality of the object, and usually use the scale from very good to very bad. And then likelihood, to measure someone's get something, and usually use the scale from definitely to never. And the last is important, to calculate someone needs, and usually use the scale from very important to unimportant. And next is, this is the example variation of scale that you want to measure. This is the important, frequency, they are very important, always, definitely, and so on. And the next is, this is the example of Likert scale. The Likert scale question is based on the statement. There are 5 scale or 7 scale based on the researcher. There are strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. Probably if you want to use the scale of 5 or 7, it's depend on you. But usually people use the scale of 5 because there is no many the type of the scale, and actually neutral in this scale is not recommended because the answer provided is no uncertain. And in statistic 2, the answer with neutral don't be calculated because the answer is uncertain. And this is the, for example, I'm fully focused at my job, and you can answer strongly agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. Is based on your perceptions. And the next is, this is the response form of the Likert scale. The 5 scale, there are strongly agree or middle agree, neutral, middle agree, or strongly agree. And the seventh scale, there are dissatisfied someone, unsatisfied someone, satisfied, and so on. This is the example response from of the Likert scale. And the next is the steps to construct Likert scale. The first is determine what the Likert scale should measure in specific aspects. It means what you want to measure, whether the agreement or the quality or the important, it's depend on your choose. And two is create your list of indicator statement. You free to give the statement, the total of the statement may be 12 or 20, it's depend on you. And use the vocabulary that is familiar to the respondent, because maybe the respondent, they don't know what is the unfamiliar vocabulary. So use the vocabulary that is familiar to the respondent. Because of that, the respondent can answer the best based on their perceptions. And the statement in the Likert scale must to the point, to deliver, to explain, to clearly explain about the contents of the statement. And the next is avoid to ask different topic in the same statement or one statement. It means in the one sentence or one statement, there is no two topic the talking about. And the next is decide if you want to use the scale of 5 or 7. It depends on you. And the next is decide on the response scale you want to use. And the next is avoid to use conjunctions such as and or but in one sentence, because it will the respondents confused to answer the best answer, because they don't know what the context of the statement given. And the last is use the language according to the respondent usually use. It means the respondent now the context or now the meaning of the statement that you want the best answer to the respondent. Because sometimes if you use the unfamiliar or you use the different language, it make the respondent confused to answer the statement. Because of that, use the language according to the response usually needs if you want to construct the Likert scale. And the last is the benefits of use Likert scale. The first is it could be more appropriate to measure how many people agree with the statement given. It means you can know exactly score of the answer based on the respondent. And the second is it is easier to see the result of the many variation of the answer given. You can have a many variation answer based on the respondents' perceptions. And the next is Likert scale questions are easier to analyze because using the scale 5 or 7 balanced response. And the last is can get more deserved data than yes or no question. Using Likert scale, you can have more appropriate data because there are many variation the answer from the respondent. So this is the benefit of use Likert scales, and I think it's enough from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.